Hello and welcome to the GAK YouTube channel. I'm David Roland from Roland Europe, and today I'm going to show you some of our cool new stuff like the new boutique series. So we have the TR-O8, the SH-01A and the D-05 all connected into this MX1 mix performer. Okay, so let's have a look at the TR-O8. So this is of course a reference to our classic TR-808 drum machine from 1980, all with the same sounds and the same parameters for you to adjust the sound, and also with some new features as well. So let's check it out. We'll start by just making a simple beat. I'll go into the edit mode here and start the sequencer, and we choose a sound with the big knob right here, and we can start programming a beat. There we go, we have our kick, our snare, and you can also program your beat live by just hitting the tap button and again choosing your sound with a big knob. So let's try that as well. And there we have our basic beat. Now we can also go into the substep, which basically means you have 30-second notes as well. So this is one step faster than the normal 16th note. So if I just hold the substep button while I'm doing my programming, I can put in substeps or 30-second notes, like this. We actually have in the TR-O8 16 different banks to choose from. So you have 12 normal patterns and 4 fills in each of the 16 banks. So we can go to manual play mode here, and I can play back my pattern and also hit the fill in button, and we can play some fills. Choose another fill. So this lets you be very interactive with your pattern performance and choosing. And also you can actually set this to be done automatically every 2 bars or every 4 bars and so on. So let's try that. I'll just set the auto fill in here to 2 bars and just play it back. So now you can hear every other pattern is a fill. And you can of course again set it to 4 or 8 or 16 and so on. Finally, we also have the trigger output on the TR-O8. So this lets me trig anything that can receive a gate or trigger signal, such as various types of modular gear, or in this case, the lovely little SH-01A. So I have a pre-made sequence on the SH-01A, and I will trig this step by step using the TR-O8 sequencer. So we'll play our beat back again. And now I'll choose the trigger output as my instrument, and I can sequence this again step by step into the SH-01A, like this. So there's our sequence. You can add some more steps, or even play fills. So that is the trigger output of the TR-O8. Okay, now let's have a look at the SH-01A. So of course this is a reference to our classic SH-101 synth, and it even comes in the different colors as well. So you can have it gray, but you can also have it blue or red. And unlike the real SH-101, this one also has plenty of patch memory. So you have 8 banks of 8 patches each, so you can easily switch between different sounds. So let's have a quick listen. So there we have a little funky bass going on. Now of course you have various types of real-time control, like of course the original sliders, like on the 101, but also you have the 2 ribbon controllers here that can let you control pitch and modulation depth, like a normal pitch wheel, but also you can actually use the pitch wheel to control filter as well. So let's just have a look at that, simply. Now we can play a few more sounds, of course. We have pulse width modulation here, so nice for sort of drum and bassy type bass sounds. And of course there's also an arpeggiator on board, so let's try that with yet another bass sound. So we can choose one of the 3 arpeggio modes. Let's say we choose up as the direction. And we can also press the hold button. And we can of course use it for various types of sounds, like more 80s style leads as well. And more evil leads. And why not some maybe computer game 8-bit style leads. And various kind of noisy effects too. We also have 4 types of voicing modes. So of course we can play it monophonically, like on the original 101, but we can also do unison, which gives you a more of a chorusy type sound, because all of the 4 voices play exactly the same thing. Now we can also go polyphonic, up to 4 voices. And finally, we have something called chord memory. So this lets you program a chord, any chord you want with 4 notes. So let's say I'll program in a minor third, a fifth, and an octave. So this gives me a basic minor chord. And on top of this, finally, you also have a sequencer. So we can actually even use the chord memory inside the sequencer. So if I just go load here, which basically means start programming, now we can program a sequence. Just something random like that. And like I showed you with the TR-O8, we can of course use the trigger input again to trigger this sequence this time and see what happens with our old beat there. And now I'll start playing the sequencer, and you can hear the sequence this time with the chord memory. So that is the chord memory and the sequencer, and that is the SH-01A. Okay, so now let's have a look at the D-05. So the D-05 is based on our legendary D-50, of course, and actually it's now our 30th anniversary of the D-50, so this is our present to you and also to ourselves. The D-05 has a fully fledged D-50 inside, and actually more. So you have all the original editing parameters, so you can easily create your own sounds from scratch, just like on the original, but of course it comes with all of the legendary presets. And not only the presets actually, but also all the expansion cards that were available. So you have 6 full preset libraries in there, as well as 8 user libraries too. So plenty of new patches as well. Anyway, let's have a listen to some of the really famous sounds. Arguably, Fantasia is probably the most famous D-50 sound, so let's have a listen to that. So that's Fantasia, and of course we have the classic soundtrack as well. And maybe we'll have a listen to Staccato Heaven. And Afterthought. Let's see what we have next. Pizza Go-Go, of course, another really famous sound. And finally, we also have a whole host of new sounds, of course, like I said. So this is called Moonstroller. And Zenigma Pad. So actually this is a great sound to show you the joystick feature here. So this comes with the same type of joystick that you had on the D-50, which means you can basically morph between different parts of the sound, and this can create some really interesting changes actually. So let's have a listen to what that can do. And speaking of which, the D-05 is actually fully backwards compatible with the PG-1000 programmer. So this means you can use the original programmer from 1987 and connect it directly into the D-05. And this also, of course, means you can also use the third-party apps that were developed for iPad and so on to control the original D50. You can use those here as well. Now finally, the D-05 also has something that the D50 did not, which is an onboard sequencer. And this is really easy to use, like most of our sequencers, and very live friendly. So I'm just gone into sequencer mode here, and I'll play it back. We have a pattern already programmed. You can have up to 64 steps. We currently have 16, so we also have switches here for each single step, and we can mute different steps and see what happens. And of course, it's really easy to add new steps by just holding a step and pressing anything you want on the keyboard. Now also, as the D-05 is hooked up to the MX-1, it's really easy to synchronize it with other gear. In this case, again, I have the TR-O8, and I can start everything from the MX-1 mixer. So I'll just press the start button. We can, of course, make easy real-time changes. Thanks to the MX-1 and its effects.